Title: The Adventure of Learning English. Episode 1, The Beginning of the Journey. On a beautiful sunny day, a group of students arrives at Mr. Nicholas's English class. They are very anxious and worried because learning a new language has always been a significant challenge for them. Some doubt their abilities, while others are unsure of how to start. Mr. Nicholas, an experienced teacher, warmly welcomes them and says, "Today, we will begin a new adventure. Don't worry. Learning a language can be a lot of fun." He explains that the goal of the class is to learn and enjoy the process. Mr. Nicholas tells them, "From today dawn, we want to focus on the meanings and concepts directly, not on translating words. Learn to think in English and understand its feelings." He encourages the students to actively participate during the class and not to be afraid of making mistakes. He also reminds them that everyone in this class is here to learn, and no one should feel embarrassed. New vocabulary: adventure, worried, experience, process, encourage. Episode 2, Watching the Video. After this introduction, Mr. Nicholas plays a video about an adventure in the jungle. The main character of the video is an explorer named Sarah who is searching for a lost treasure. Mr. Nicholas asks the students to pay attention to the key points and emotions of the characters. While watching the video, Sarah faces various challenges, including crossing a river. Mr. Nicholas says, "Pay attention to Sarah and see how she faces problems. Does she need help from others, or can she overcome the challenges on her own?" The students listen carefully to the video and understand Sarah's emotions. Sarah uses her creativity to solve problems, and this point inspires the students. New vocabulary: video, explorer, treasure, challenge, creativity. Episode 3, Discussion and Sharing Opinions. After watching the video, Mr. Nicholas asks the students to share their opinions about it. One student, Ali, says, "Sarah is very brave, and she never gives up when she faces a problem." Another student, Fatima, points out, "She uses her creativity to solve problems. This is inspiring for me." Mr. Nicholas happily responds, "Exactly. In language learning, you must also have courage and not be afraid of mistakes. Every time you encounter a challenge, it's an opportunity to learn and grow." This discussion helps the students to talk more about their feelings and experiences, motivating them in their language. Learning journey: new vocabulary, discussion, courage, overcome, inspiration, experience. Episode 4, New Exercises. Mr. Nicholas decides to give the students new exercises. He says, "For next week, each of you must find a video or podcast in English and watch or listen to it. Then, write a report about it and share the key points with the class." The students eagerly accept this challenge. Mr. Nicholas adds, "Learning a language is much easier with topics you love. So choose subjects that interest you." One student, Saman, asks, "Can we use movies and series too?" Mr. Nicholas happily responds, "Yes, any topic that interests you can be an excellent resource for learning." This challenge motivates the students to enthusiastically seek out new learning resources. New vocabulary, exercise, podcast, report, share. Enthusiasm. Episode 5, The Learning Week. The following week, the students present their videos and podcasts. Each one talks about various topics, from adventures to different cultures. Mr. Nicholas gives feedback to each of them and offers positive suggestions for improvement. Sahar, one of the students, talks about a podcast on space travel and says, "Learning about astronauts and what they do is very interesting." Mr. Nicholas tells Sahar, "That's great. Learning about exciting topics helps. You get more familiar with the language. Each student speaks with enthusiasm about their experiences, feeling that they have made progress in learning the language. New vocabulary, presentation, space, experience, improvement, engagement. Episode 6, Learning Challenges. In the following week, Mr. Nicholas decides to arrange a group challenge. He says, "We want to engage in a new challenge. The students will be divided into 2 groups, and each group must prepare a short play in English about a topic they love." The students excitedly start planning. Each group decides what topic to choose and how to present it. One group chooses the topic of adventure in nature, while the other focuses on different cultures. Mr. Nicholas helps them learn important vocabulary and phrases, practicing ways to express feelings and thoughts. He emphasizes that their goal is to learn the language through action, not just theory. New vocabulary, challenge, group, performance, nature, culture. Episode 7, The Performance. Finally, the day of the performances arrives. Each group eagerly yet nervously takes turns on stage. The first group performs the adventure story in nature. They bring the story to life with body, language, and emotional expression, transporting the audience into their world. After that, the second group comes on stage and discusses different cultures. They make their performance more engaging by using traditional clothing and various music. After the performances, Mr. Nicholas asks the students to share their thoughts about each other's performances. They congratulate each other and celebrate their progress in learning. English, new vocabulary. Performance, stage, celebrate, audience, progress. This story can serve as a framework for learning English. Each episode can be expanded into discussions, vocabulary, exercises, and activities that engage students in active learning. Feel free to adapt or modify the story as needed. Episode 8, The First Conversation. The students are becoming more confident with their English skills. Mr. Nicholas decides it's time for them to practice real conversations. He pairs them up and gives them simple scenarios such as ordering food at a restaurant or introducing themselves to a new friend. Sarah is paired with Jack, and although they are nervous, at first, they slowly start to speak with each other in English. They laugh at their mistakes but are proud of how much they've improved. For Sarah, this moment is a turning point, as she realizes she can actually use English in real life. The students learn that communication is more important than perfection. Episode 9, The Power of Consistency. Weeks pass, and the students continue to practice English. Mr. Nicholas emphasizes the importance of consistency. He encourages them to practice for at least 15 minutes a day, even if it's just reading a short article or listening to an English song. Some students find it hard to keep up, especially on busy days, but they start to see the results. Sarah, for example, starts reading short stories in English and finds herself understanding more words each day. The class becomes more motivated, realizing that progress comes with time and consistent effort. Episode 10, Celebrating Progress. After several months of hard work, Mr. Nicholas organizes a small celebration to recognize the students' progress. They gather together, and he hands out certificates to everyone, acknowledging their effort and improvement. The students share their experiences, talking about how they used to be scared or frustrated, but now feel much more confident. Sarah thanks Mr. Nicholas for his support and encouragement, and the entire class applauds each other. They all agree that while the journey of learning English is ongoing, they've already come. So far, the students feel proud of their progress and excited about the future, knowing that they've built a strong foundation for the next stages of their learning journey. Episode 11, the end of one chapter, the start of a new one. After a year of learning, the students have not reached a point where they not only understand English well, but they can also speak it fluently and tackle more complex topics. Mr. Nicholas appreciates their effort and says, "You have achieved what you set out to do, but this is not the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter." The Port students, now more confident, realize that learning English is an ongoing process, and they must continue their studies. At the end of course celebration, each student shares their future goals. Sarah dreams of studying at a university abroad, while Jack wants to become an English teacher. They all agree that the journey of learning English is never truly over. They have not only learned a language, but also an important lesson. Nothing is impossible, and anyone can achieve their dreams if they believe in themselves and keep working towards progress. End of story.